Hello, welcome to another show of Expat Living. For many foreigners, Vietnam is always a great place for them to come to live and to work. But for some of them, this is a place where they can come to discover new things and find new experiences. And today we'll meet with one of them, Suzette Michelle, an Australian. Originally coming to the country to work, but Vietnam gradually becomes her second home, and she's now closely connected to the country with Buddhism. And she will tell us the story now. Having recently heard about photo exhibition on Buddhism themed Now is When, I decided to take a look. While I was there, I met Suzette Michelle, the organizer of the event. Suzette told me everything about the exhibition, which is being held for charity.
There are 25 photos in the exhibition, and they are mostly from Shwedagon Pagoda in Yangon. And then there are others that are actually taken of monks in Sri Lanka, in a place called Hembantota. And there is one from Phnom Penh, but they are throughout the travels that I have done. I have many others from many other places, but I really wanted to focus on the images mostly around the robes and the beads that monks had.
The images of this exhibition focus on simplicity to create an atmosphere of contemplation, meditation, and inspiration. More importantly, Suzette hopes that the photos can help her convey her own lessons about life after years of studying Buddhism.
In our daily lives, we are so caught up with what is it in the past? Oh, wow, I really regret that, or I wish I'd done this, if only, blah, blah, or tomorrow, or I will next year, or I wish I was, I'm really going to work towards. And in the meantime, we completely ignore now. And this is the only moment in which we are living. And this is what Buddhism tells us, be in the moment, because this is the moment. The past is the past, and the present is actually a present. It is a gift to us, and we need to be conscious of that.
As a foreigner who has opened an exhibition on Buddhism and donated all the proceeds to charity, I want to find out more about this lady. Despite her great interest and skills in photography, Suzette does not work as a professional photographer. In fact, for a long time, she has been working in Vietnam in the field of gender equality. She even held the position of country representative for UN Women until last year.
I came to Vietnam in 1998 as a UN volunteer. I was already specialising in gender issues, and then after that I returned to Australia and finished my PhD, and then Vietnam became a part of what the United Nations call the Delivering as One, One UN. And I was approached to see if I would be interested to come back to Vietnam. So I left as a volunteer, and then I came back in the year 2007 as the country representative for what was then UNIFEM, now UN Women, which was fantastic.
Suzette came to Vietnam because she loved the country and the people, and she wanted to work for the betterment of gender issues. With the efforts made by Suzette and people like her, gender issues in Vietnam have changed radically. With the new gender equality law in 2006, the domestic violence law in 2007, and most recently, the National Strategy for Gender Equality approved in 2010.
Vietnam often quotes itself as having one of the highest rates of women in decision making in the Asia region, and it does. I would like to see that mainstreamed within the work of climate change, whether it's adaptation, whether it's mitigation, no matter which aspect, there are always roles for women. The United Nations in Vietnam would like to endorse this statement and support the struggle for lesbian, gay, transgender and bisexual people in Vietnam. Thank you.
As well as the qualities she has used to reach these goals in gender equality, photography, which is also her passion, is an effective way of improving the situation in Vietnam.
When I was running International Women's Development Agency, again, I think you can have something that is very well written and that is a piece of art, but to convey a message very quickly to somebody, you can show a photo, and photos can be beautiful, they can be powerful, they can change people's lives.
Apart from her passion for photography, Suzette has been interested in Buddhism since a young age. In Vietnam, Suzette often visits Quán Sư Pagoda near her office when she has free time, and in this pagoda, her interest in Buddhism has grown stronger over the years.
When I came to Vietnam the first time and I started studying Buddhism at Quán Sư, and that was because I found Quán Sư beautiful. And from visiting there, I met the Venerable Tien, who was my teacher for 3 years. He taught me Buddhism. And from that, I gained much more of an interest and started reading much more widely. Buddhism is about being honest, being true, being nice, being fair. And social justice is about being fair, being equitable, acknowledging suffering, but working to the benefit of others and for truth and, you know, what is the Eightfold Path. So I think slowly I was gathering things, and a part of me was developing along that path.
Buddhism appeared in India in the 6th century BC and is known as a religion for peace, solidarity, and cooperation. After 27 centuries of development, Buddhism has entered over 100 countries on all continents. Official statistics from 2008 showed that there are around 350 million Buddhists worldwide. Buddhism from India was imported to Vietnam by sea and became parts of Vietnamese culture. After centuries of development, Buddhism has become one of the major religions in Vietnam with an increasing number of followers. Buddhism in Vietnam is growing with the nation, teaching people peace, love, and wisdom, and also encouraging them to contribute to national defense and construction. Traveling 12 kilometers to Phú Diễn Commune in Từ Liêm District, Hanoi, Suzette has come to visit Đình Quán Pagoda. This old and beautiful pagoda was built during the Trần Dynasty. Today, she'll meet Abbas Thích Tịnh Quán, who she has met several times at charity events for disadvantaged and sick children in Hanoi.
It was many years ago where it was an event for children and it was held by UNICEF and they were talking about all of the ways to protect children. And I met the Venerable Thich Tinh Quan then. She was working to help the children in the hospital and I had a chance to talk to her, and because she speaks English I could hear about the work that she does, which I thought was fantastic. So soon after that it was Children's Day and she was organising some activities out at the hospital, so I was able to go out and to help her and see all of the people that she was helping. Really incredible work with very, very sick children in hospital, and I was really impressed with the work that she did.
Her meetings with the abbess help Suzette to learn more about the history of the pagoda. Suzette reads a lot about Buddhism, but she believes that having the opportunities to talk with Buddhist monks and nuns is the quickest way to enrich your knowledge about the religion.
I love to learn more about Buddhism, and she is so very wise. I think I'm very lucky to have met her. She has a beautiful presence. I think firstly it is calming to be just with her because her presence is so lovely, but her words are so wise. And I think she has an ability to bring Buddhism to life. Like I can read, and I do read. I read a lot of Buddhism, and it's very meaningful. But to hear from somebody who practices, that is their life, it's different. It makes a very big difference.
Suzette also takes these chances to learn more about the practices within Buddhism. Acknowledging her interest in the religion, Abbess Thich Tinh Quan does her best to guide her deeper into the faith.
Càng tiếp xúc thì càng thấy cô có một cái lòng nhân từ rất là dày. Và đặc biệt là đối với Phật giáo là cô ấy muốn đi sâu vào Phật giáo để mà nghiên cứu về cái tâm linh. Cô cũng rất là thích ngồi thiền, và nói đến thiền để cho tâm mình tĩnh lặng và cũng như là chăm sóc tâm, chăm sóc đến người khác á, thì cô rất là quan tâm. Cho nên sau cái buổi triển lãm ảnh thì gặp gỡ những người bạn của cô đó, cô cũng có những cái tâm huyết như vậy. Và mình thấy rằng là rất tôn trọng với một tấm lòng của một người nước ngoài mà lại biết đến Phật giáo và lại trưng bày toàn về ảnh của các tu sĩ. Và ngay bây giờ nữa thì lúc nào cô cũng rất là tôn trọng cũng như là thấy rất là quý mến những người về tôn giáo như vậy.
In order to contribute to the efforts being made to support disadvantaged people by the nuns, Suzette opens her photo exhibition to raise money for the pagoda's charity fund.
Trong cái buổi triển lãm ảnh hôm đó thì những người đến tham dự chỉ là triển lãm ảnh thôi, nhưng mà họ thấy có cái việc từ thiện của mình cùng, và cô ấy đã nhấn mạnh cái điểm đó. Vì vậy cho nên hôm ấy thì nhà chùa đã nhận được hơn 4 triệu đồng Việt Nam. Cái tiền mọi người ủng hộ về cái công tác từ thiện của chùa mình là hay phát quà cho các bệnh nhân ung thư. Mình đón họ về đây rồi đem cho họ niềm vui, sau đó để cho họ được nghe Pháp, rồi họ được sám hối, sau đó nhận quà. Cô luôn luôn thao thức là cô cùng làm thế nào đó kết hợp với nhà chùa để làm từ thiện được tốt hơn. Thì đấy là một tấm lòng rất là đáng tôn trọng.
Having used her photography skills to improve gender equality in Vietnam, now Suzette used the same talent for Buddhism. She hopes her works encourage more people to get involved with charitable activities to support the less fortunate.
I really wanted other people to know about the work that she does, because I think not so many people know of the temple out here. I think a lot of Vietnamese know, but perhaps a lot of foreigners do not know. So I wanted more foreigners to know about the work that she does and have the opportunity to support her.
In Suzette's house, there's a small world that she reserves for her love of Buddhism. Here is where she keeps all her Buddhist objects and books and spends time for meditation. Sometimes she also shows her daughter Veronica how to meditate.
10 minutes. Cross legs, close your eyes, not too fast. You focus, you breathe in, you breathe out, and you go slow. Sometimes she can come home from school upset because someone says that she's no longer her friend and she's this and she's that. So I look back at what I think might have helped me, and I find meditation helps me to stop your brain like going, thinking all these crazy things. So I thought if she can learn to meditate when she's really young, that is a gift that I can give her that nobody can ever take from her.
This year, Suzette is staying away from work and spending time on the things she loves, caring for her family and learning more about Buddhism. For her, now is when and Vietnam is where.
I have taken the year off, and this is my year, and this is my year to be in the moment and to do what I want to do. And so many things seem to link back to Buddhism. My daughter was born here, and this is the place that she knows as home, and it is very much home to me too.
And that's a very interesting story about Suzette Michel with a great love for Vietnam and Buddhism that we want to bring you today. And as usual, now we move to our time out this week, and our host Lan Anh will tell you more.
Nha Trang isn't just an ordinary white sand beach. Beneath that gorgeous blue water is a world of sea creatures that amaze anyone. Nha Trang's exceptional diversity of species is the highest of all Vietnam's coastal waters, representing about 50% of Vietnam's entire marine species. Some 3,000 marine species, about 1,200 genera from nearly 500 families have been recorded here since 2002.
So in this edition of Time Out, I'm going to take you to specific places where visitors come to not only observe, but at the same time to learn and to do research about the diversity of Nha Trang's marine life. Now, speaking of Nha Trang's biodiversity, the first place that springs to mind has to be the Institute of Oceanography.
Established in 1922, this nearly century-old Institute of Oceanography is the leading marine research center in Vietnam. The Institute shelters a lively oceanographic museum which keeps and displays thousands of living creatures and marine specimens collected in the East Sea and some other contiguous areas. These are some of the greatest marine collections of their kind in the Southeast Asia. Now, speaking of greatness, this giant humpback whale skeleton is a nice way of dropping visitors a hint on the museum's large scale.
Chiều dài của bộ xương là 18 m và trọng lượng của nó là gần 10 tấn. Một trong những bộ xương có kích cỡ lớn nhất ở vùng biển Việt Nam chúng ta. Còn nếu như nó còn sống, các nhà khoa học ước tính khoảng 80 tấn. Bộ xương này được tìm thấy tại xã Hải Cường, huyện Hải Hậu của tỉnh Nam Định. Vào năm 94 thì trong khi đào mương làm thủy lợi, thì những người dân ở Hải Cường, Hải Hậu, Nam Định đã tình cờ tìm thấy bộ xương này trên cánh đồng lúa. Khi mà chúng ta tìm thấy thì nó đã vùi sâu trong lòng đất khoảng 1,2 m và xa bờ biển khoảng 4 cây số. Có nghĩa là nó chết khá lâu rồi từ khi mà nơi đó còn là một cái vùng biển.
I'm definitely amazed when I saw this giant skeleton. It's probably the biggest skeleton that I have ever seen. Judging from the number of pieces, I can tell how much effort Vietnamese scientists have put into gathering everything together. It's like we are seeing the ocean on the land. And also, from a skeleton, we get introduced to so much more information.
Với cơ thể to lớn nhưng mà cá voi là một loài thú rất là hiền lành, nó không gây nguy hiểm cho con người và chỉ ăn các loài tôm, cá và mực nhỏ thôi. Tuy nhiên là ăn cũng khá nhiều, có khoảng đến 2 đến 3 tấn thức ăn mỗi ngày.
Besides skeletons, the Institute also keeps marine species in their full forms. This unique collection of thousands of well-preserved specimens in bottles, arranged based on biological development and involvement of marine species, is the biggest of its kind in Vietnam.
Một kho lưu trữ mẫu rất là đa dạng phong phú mà Viện Hệ sinh học đã thu thập được trong vòng 90 năm qua trên khắp vùng biển Việt Nam và các cái vùng biển lân cận, với hơn 20.000 mẫu trong số 10.000 loài sinh vật biển. Và năm 2012 thì Trung tâm Sách Kỷ lục Việt Nam đã xác lập Viện Hệ sinh học là nơi mà lưu trữ bộ mẫu sinh vật biển lớn nhất Việt Nam. Bắt đầu đến thì ta sẽ được xem các loài thực vật biển, đó là rong biển này, rồi đến các loài sinh vật nổi, các loài san hô, các loài hai mảnh vỏ, các loài trong ngành động vật da gai, các loài cá và cuối cùng là các loài rắn biển. Hàng năm thì các cán bộ của Viện Hệ sinh học vẫn tiếp tục bổ sung thêm các cái mẫu vật mới lạ để mang về phục vụ cho công tác nghiên cứu khoa học và cho du khách tham quan.
I think this institute is a very well-developed institution to study marine life in all areas. The staff of this institute can show to wild public marine animals in their natural situation, how they live in marine. This is very great contribution into the educational and cultural life of Vietnam.
Contributing more to improving community education and awareness on marine security and national sovereignty is the tunnel displaying the rich resources of the Spratly and Paracel archipelagos. Besides displaying the sea creatures that can only be found in the two archipelagos, the tunnel also introduced to the public a lot of maps and documents that confirm the country's sovereignty in these two archipelagos.
So we have seen so many specimens currently kept at the Institute of Oceanography. How about getting to see them in real life? Now let's follow me.
The place we're heading to now is Hon Mun Island. This is the first marine protected area in Vietnam, housing the most biodiverse undersea world in the entire country.
Now here we are at the beautiful Moon Islands, and this is known as one of the most diverse marine biodiversity in Vietnam. Now while we're here, there's just one way to discover that diversity, which is, yes, diving. So let's go.
Nha Trang is a scuba diver's paradise. Clear and warm water, spectacular coral reefs, and a lot of reputable scuba diving tour operators. For around $50, visitors get to dive twice or 3 times in different areas, and a short training session as a bonus. After warming up, it's now time for me to discover this wonder undersea world.
That's all we have time for in this edition of Time Out. But remember to join me next time to continue the journey to discover Nha Trang's marine diversity. Goodbye for now.
And that's it for our Expo Living for this week. Hope you enjoyed, and if you have any comments or ideas, please feel free to send them to expoliving@vtv.vn. And also to rewatch any of our program, please log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go. Thanks for watching and see you next time.